Hey guys, Sav here. It's been a while. How long has it been? 5 months? 6 months? 7 maybe? It's been quite a while. I think my latest video was in January, and it is now August 1st when I'm recording this. I don't actually know when this will be published just yet. The last video I said hopefully I'll see you guys again in April. That didn't work out. The Living Story Season 3 was actually just released last week. About a week late actually starting this. I probably should have done it last week. I actually wasn't even going to come back and do this. But I started watching some of my Let's Plays last night. I decided, you know what? The hell with it. Let's do it. Let's go back and at least get back into the Living Story, and maybe we'll expand into some other things too. As you guys probably have figured out by now, my Fallout series, it's not coming back. I haven't been back into the game. Every time I go back to play it, I've been away from it for so long, and I just don't remember what I'm doing. Those videos are very, very difficult to create. They take a lot of time, a lot of cutting and pasting and moving and record. It's a hassle. It's a hassle to make those videos, and they're just not fun to make. They're fun in the end. I usually like them in the end because there's a lot of jump scares and stuff like that I think is kind of funny, but there's just so much effort to make. I'm just not going to do them anymore. Anyway, so that's kind of like a brief synopsis of what's going on my channel. I'm going to do some Living World stuff with Guild Wars here, and we'll see what happens from there. Maybe I'll do some other Let's Play stuff. I don't know. No promises. Absolutely zero promises this time. We're actually going to see how long it takes me to remember how to edit up some videos and get that done to see if I even want to do Let's Plays anymore. But I do want to keep at least my Guild Wars Let's Play current so that I have every story step documented for whatever reason. But before we get back into the Let's Play, I'm gonna call this like my reintroduction video, and just talk about some things that we kind of missed within the past few months. Not a whole lot. There was 2 rather large patches. I guess 3. And I don't remember what was in what and what was when, so I'm not going to get into like very specific details about it. But I am going to at least give you a vague idea, at least some idea of what was put into the game, and during the downtime before Living World Season 3 finally came out, what I've been up to personally in the game, and just some other things. Just kind of like I have kind of like a bullet point list here that I'm going to go over. So here we go. Just to kind of start things out, obviously you can see that the last time, if you look at my last video and this video, you can see that my character Darla here has changed a little bit. Kind of the same outfit, still just changed the dye. The big thing that kind of came into this game, I think, big thing style-wise, has been the wings. There's just wings all over the game right now, and that kind of came with obviously the gliding, but then they actually patched gliding into the rest of the game. So it's not just now in the expansion area that you can glide. If you own the expansion, you can glide anywhere. If you don't own the expansion, you can't glide anywhere. But well, I shouldn't say everywhere. You can glide everywhere that's not instanced. Now, what does that mean? It means like the dungeons, I can't glide. Fractals, you can't glide. However, some of the newer stuff, like the new Heart of Thorns stuff, the new Living Story stuff, you can glide in those instances. But the dungeons and the raids, I'm sorry, you can also glide in the raids. The old instances, like the old story stuff and the old dungeons, stuff like that, you cannot glide. I'll just demonstrate it here real quick. As you see, I'm just in Lion's Arch. I was on top of the trading post there, and I'm gliding down now. And woohoo, exciting, I know. Let's see. So, yeah, just about everybody in this game has wings now. As you can see, there is quite a few different kinds. I have both white and black wings for some of my different characters. There's also hawk wings, Golden Wings, Wings of the Lover. These are all just the glider skins, but they are also, backpack skins as well. The ones I'm showing you, at least. There's the McCall skins. They're kind of like a rainbow or blue, rainbowish. So yeah, you see a lot of wings in the game nowadays, myself included. I actually, every single one of my characters now has wings. It's kind of sad maybe. I just kind of like them. So some other things I've been up to. Obviously, I got my mastery points maxed out. I don't remember what the numbers were prior. However, since I last spoke, the other 2 raid wings were released. They came with a few more mastery points. For a long time, the max I believe was 160. What the heck was it? 166. And then before that, I think it was like 164. I don't really remember, to be honest with you. Actually, I could probably figure it out real quick. Ancient Magics, Forsaken Thicket. Yeah, they kept adding more and more. With the extra 2 raid wings, and then they added 1 more with the Living Story. So now I'm up to 170. So I did max that a while back, and I've kept it maxed since. What else have I been doing? I got a fortunate drop one day. I got this Permanent Bank Access Express, which is nice. And then I actually have gotten a second one since. And these sell for quite a bit of money on the trading post. This is kind of like just me bragging slightly here, but figure might as well just let you guys know. As soon as I get up 150 gold, I am selling this thing, and I'm going to be rolling in gold. And excited. But the reason why I actually came in here is that when I did work on 3 legendaries since my last video. All one-handed weapons. I did Frostfang. I finally finished Frostfang actually just the other day. Frostfang was something, I don't know if I mentioned it or not. It was one of the first when they came out with the legendary crafting with the expansion. It was the first one I started working on because I thought I really badly wanted it. It turns out I didn't really want it that bad, so I put it like on the back burner and just never got back to it until very, very recently. About a month ago, I decided to get back to it, and I finally finished it. So I now have that. The first thing I put it off for was for my Necro. I wanted to get her a cool scepter skin. I don't really like any other scepter skins in the game, so I made her the Meteorologicus. There it is right there. And finally, I also made, oops, let me put that back where it was so I don't lose it. And finally I made the Incinerator. Not so much for Darla, but obviously Darla's a benefactor for it. I kind of just made it also for my Necro, so for her offhand. My Necro has kind of become my main. Warrior was my main for a very long time, but I've been playing so much Necro that I just decided that Necro is going to be the one I care the most about. So she got 2 legendaries basically, and then I finished Frostfang after that. So that's kind of like my bragging section. Not that it's really, I guess, anything too exciting to brag about. Other things that have been going on with me. My old guild, my old raid group, kind of disbanded. VT. As you can see, I'm still here, but really nobody else is. Charlie, my old co-leader, hasn't been logged in over 5 months. Cam and I aren't talking at the moment. Just some other people on here. Flame hasn't logged in a while. So yeah, that guild's kind of defunct. Now in ER, Enlightened Revolutionists. Nothing too exciting to say there. We kind of decided to basically. It wasn't really a given that this guild was going to raid, so we kind of, myself and a few other people in the guild have kind of taken about some of the newer players and kind of taught them how to raid, and it's been an experience to say the least. I finally have just very recently killed Sabbatha, and as a group we haven't killed Sabbatha, but we're pretty far along with Sabbath. I think probably within the next raid night or two, we're going to finally kill Sabbath. We only raid once a week. There's a lot of scheduling problems I personally have where I can't raid nearly as often as I want. And because my original group kind of defunct, I've just been kind of afraid to pick up any kind of experienced group. Basically, that raid group kind of defunct right before the second raid wing came out. So everybody was kind of going on to the second raid wing, and I still wasn't done with the first raid wing. So I never really joined any other. I kind of just joined ER, and we just kind of started over. I kind of started over from the beginning, and we've made some progress. I'm happy with the progress that we made, and we'll be moving on to the second wing soon. So nothing too much to brag about there. Just kind of where I'm at with that. I do still enjoy raiding quite a bit. I may, if I can ever find a group that raids at a time that I can actually, partake in, then I would definitely probably just join a second. I will also join a second group and stick with ER because I like the progress that we made in ER. I like a lot of people in ER. It's fun. These guys everybody in ER is cool. So I enjoy the guild. So there's that. What else? Okay, so with each patch that came out, there was actually several patches. Besides, there was the three quarterly patches that have come out. The one for the winter, one for spring, and one for summer. And they were all pretty large patches, which brought a lot of different things. But there was also some small patches, kind of interlaced in here and there, which brought what were called current events. And the current events. Let's go into the achievements here, because there's a current events tab now under general in the achievements. And you see I did most of them. Some of them I didn't finish. So the achievements, whatever. Bounty Hunter's repeatable. These ones I just haven't finished for whatever reason. So essentially, I will hopefully play some footage in the background of me doing some of these. By the time I'm doing them now, they're pretty much all but dead. Most of them, just because they're old news now. But you can still kind of do them. They are, for the most part, probably soloable. They do scale down. Maybe not soloable. Maybe like 2-3 people can handle it. There was the first one was you would go basically beat up some bandits, and you might drop a bandit note or whatever. I don't have it anymore on me. And you would take this to a Shining Blade officer in Divinity's Reach, and he would tell you what he would encode it for you, and he would basically send you off to basically one of 4, I think at the time it was 4 or 5 bandit champion bosses somewhere in the Krita area. There was also, I think, a couple in Brisbane Wildlands, which is actually Maguma. But yeah, so they could be in Cassox Hills, they could be in Queensdale, they could be in Harathi Hinterlands, and then, like I said, there were some in Brisbane. They added more later with like a third. I want to say it was like the third current events patch. I don't really remember. They added some more of those champs, and then they also added an executioner. So basically, you could get a dropped item. I think it was called a Bandit Death Mark, and if you were carrying that as you defeated one of these champions, I don't think I have footage of this. A executioner would come down and basically try to kill you, and he was, more difficult. But basically, just all tied to different achievements here. Also, in different patches, there was stuff going on with ley lines and ley energy. I should also have footage of this in the background. And there was several different maps you could go to. Mount Maelstrom, Blazeridge Steps, and come immediately to mind. And there was one in the Norn area somewhere. I don't remember which one exactly. Maybe Snowden Drifts. I don't remember. Where basically some ley energy was coming up out of the ground, and these ley anomalies or whatever would kind of gather around it, and you had to defend them, and then you had to beat them after you defended them. Basically, you had to defend them from dragon minions and then defeat them because I guess they just absorbed too much energy. I'm not quite sure. And then after that, at some point, there was another current event that was where you could either help the Priory or the Consortium, and the Consortium for those who don't know, is basically another merchant group that based out of Lion's Arch, not besides Black Lion. And they wanted to, they wanted to collect it for, I guess, financial gains, so you could help them and get money, or you could help the Priory. You could also do both. You had to take, you couldn't do both at the same time, but you could do either or. You could help the Priory and receive karma. And there was, they spawned in 2 different areas of Blaze Ridge Steppes, I believe. Let's go over here real quick. Blaze Ridge Steppes. You can see the last Whiskey Bar waypoint is where the Consortium would spawn. And I want to say Refuge Sanctum waypoint possibly, but it might have been up here more, where I actually haven't explored with this character. Is where the Priory would spawn, and they would basically, you'd have to follow them to somewhere on the map and basically defend them and help them collect ley energy, as also the Inquest were trying to take it as well. There was like 4 or 5 different areas on the map where this could happen. So they would start, the Consortium would start out here, and you could follow them to wherever, and sometimes the Priory would go to the same place, so you'd have like a triangular battle going on, or they would just go off on their own, and the Inquest would be 1v1 with the Inquest, and the same thing with the Priory. It was an interesting event. There was one I don't think I actually finished all the achievements for. Let's see, did I finish all the achievements for that? I don't know. No, I haven't, unfortunately. I only finished 5 events. So, I should go back and finish 5 more, but I actually failed the one that I recorded for this video, so whatever. And then the final current event that they put in was the anomalies. They basically put a giant ley anomaly in 3 different maps. And every 2 hours on these 3 rotating maps, Iron Marches, Gendaron Fields, Timberline Falls. So on one of those 3 maps, and it rotates. So basically it'll happen on each map once every 6 hours. But the 3 different events are 2 hours apart, so it rotates. So like at 8:20 my time, it's in Gendaron Fields, and then 10:20 my time, it's in Timberline Falls. I might have the exact places mixed up. I'm not 100% sure. And basically, you have to follow this big giant Leonine anomaly around the map of the Veil Guardian. He basically looks like a big Veil Guardian, and you follow him around the map and try to kill him. He stops every so often after you break his bar, and you DPS him to a certain extent, and then again running around the map. Hopefully I got some footage for you. So there was that, the current events. Not super exciting stuff, just basically just little events that they added to the game. They came with different rewards. Like I said, there was obviously achievements attached to them. There was gold attached to some of them. There was experience attached to a lot of them if you were trying to still level up your masteries. Quality of life stuff. There was a bunch of quality of life stuff in some of these bigger patches. Some of the stuff I wrote down in actually one of the most recent patches now. You can now right click on your salvage kits and salvage all, which is huge. Which is like, holy shit, finally. So like when you're running around doing like a meta event or something like that, and you have just a ton of stuff in your inventory, you can quickly go in here and right click on your salvage-o-matic or whatever, your salvage machine, your salvage kit, excuse me, and you can salvage all masterwork and lower. So that right there would salvage all your greens, blues, and whites right off the bat. I wish I had something in my inventory so I could show you how it works, but I don't right now. Sorry. And then I would personally, or you could do rares. It'll only do your rares if you do it this way. You don't do rares and below. The only thing that does lower is masterwork or fine. It's awesome. It really is. It's so awesome. Probably the only issue I really have with it is the fact that I don't really know what I have anymore. I kind of like when you go through and salvage everything one by one, you kind of get an idea of the kind of materials you're getting, and now you just kind of it's like one click and then you just deposit it all. So I don't really know kind of everything that I'm getting. Not a big deal. Actually, while we're here, I completely failed to mention these shared inventory slots. These are now these 4 slots right here. You can get up to 11, if I'm not mistaken now, of these. And basically what that means is these will show up on all of my characters, and I can put stuff in these and they will be there for all of my characters. So these items are just items that I use, well, not so much Suburban, but like my salvage kits and my permanent bank access are, you know, there's stuff obviously I want to use on all my characters. So instead of throwing them in my bank and then taking them out of my bank to use them on all of my characters like I used to, and basically always be camped out by the bank, now, and then of course I also have my permanent bank access express, now they just go into shared inventory and they're always there on all my characters. So it's really just an awesome quality of life thing. It's definitely beats, like I said, swapping. You know, if I swap to a character real quick and then I got something I need to salvage it, and then I realize I forgot my salvage kit, and I got to go back and find where the salvage kit is. You know, especially when you have these copper fed and silver fed, like, you care a little bit more because you don't want to buy more salvage kits because you have these. But anyway, it's definitely a nice thing to have, and I'm glad I have it. I bought 3 of them. The 4th one actually came with the level 80 boost that came with one of the quality with one of the big patches, one of the quarterly patches. So now you can, if you have not bought Heart of Thorns, and you buy Heart of Thorns, you will now have a booster to level 80 in a shared inventory slot on all your characters, so you can use it at any time. And just instantly boost one of your characters to level 80. Obviously, you probably want to use it on a new character. I actually made a Mesmer for that, and obviously had a level 1 Mesmer. Had to go through the first part of the story, the introduction, I guess, to the game, and then you double click on it. It takes you to Silver Waste. You're level 80. It gives you level 80 gear. It's PVT gear, power, vitality, toughness gear. Which isn't great, but it's something. It gives you a bunch of account bound food, 15 slot bags. It's kind of nice if you, for like somebody like me who just wanted a level 80 Mesmer, but didn't feel like leveling it. Didn't have enough. I mean, I could have just used tomes, I guess, at the time too. But it was something free. It came with a free account slot, shared inventory slot, which was cool. However, you cannot actually use that shared inventory slot until you've used that level 80 boost. So if you have Heart of Thorns and you haven't logged in since that patch, you will have the level 80 boost whenever you actually log in again. I believe. Don't quote me on that. I believe. And you'll get all that fun crap too. What else? One of the big things that came with one of the patches was a rework to the LFG system, or the LFG whatever tool. As you can see, there's no like just generic, just open world spot anymore. Now open world opens up and there's a bunch of categories. Central tier parties and squads. That's another thing that came with the LFG. This LFG update is you can also advertise your squad in the LFG, which is awesome. World bosses: Verdant Brink, Arc Base, Entangled Depths, Dragon Stand, and the new map, Bloodstone Fen. Also, I mean, there's a whole bunch of categories here: achievements, story journal for doing stuff, mentoring. I don't know what that exactly means. PvP, World v World, raids, fractals, dungeons, and roleplay. If you want to meet at the Fountain of Rurickton, I don't know, there's a couple people there. So if you want to get your roleplay on, go to the LFG. But yeah, it's actually really nice to use now. I believe they fixed some of the bugs. There was some bugs for a while. You would actually post, and then it would just post blank for some reason. And you had to go back and edit it to change it. It was kind of annoying, but overall, it's a nice thing to have. The raids, you could advertise your raid group in the looking for more, and like this right now is looking for more Spirit Veil. Or you can just put yourself in here as looking for a group, and you can just be picked up right out of here. That was definitely a nice update. Another thing that was actually, we're getting more into some of the more recent patches here. Actually, this was the most recent patch, the Living Story patch. They changed the ping, so you can now shift. Actually, you can ping normal ping just by shift and clicking anywhere on the map, or you can shift click. The shift button's not working, and hold your click in one shift button, and you can use like check marks or a green ping or an X, don't go there, or a caution arrow thing. They'll make different noises. I don't know if you can hear them. Just something little, something nice. If I guess probably good for more for like World v. Worlders or even Raiders. It's something nice to have. Something small, something not really that big of a deal, but it's cool. New emotes came in the latest patch. Actually, I could just sit here and talk to you. See, this is her talking. You can't see because she has a mask on, but she's talking. What else is there? There's I can cross my arms. I can face palm. If I can spell right. Yeah, the bill is upset. There's two others too. I don't actually remember what they are off the top of my head. I don't feel like looking them up. They're really not that big of a deal. There's stuff that was kind of already in the game, like NPCs throughout the game were already doing them. So that it's not like they put a lot of extra effort into adding these, but it's something extra now. Anyway, since we were talking about emotes, I decided that I would show you guys this. Basically, now in raids, one of the most annoying things in raids was if you were trying to wipe, and for whatever reason, especially like a good tank just won't die. Now they can just hit /GG and kill themselves. It's pretty awesome. It's kind of fun just to kind of goof around with it. But it's definitely a nice quality of life thing that was added, just for for the raiders. And since we're talking about raids, I would be amiss if I didn't mention the Lion's Arch Aerodrome that was added to the game. As you can see, it's just south of Lion's Arch here. It's technically Lion's Arch, however, it is a separate map. You have to get through. You have to go through a loading screen to get into it. It's basically just a room where you can get together to raid. All the 3 different raid portals are over here. I'll show you. The first one for Spirit Vale, Forsaken Thicket. They're all the Forsaken Thicket, all 3 wings. The first wing was called Spirit Vale. This is where you go in for the first wing. This is where you go in for the second wing for Salvation Pass. I always forget the name of that one. And right here for Stronghold of the Faithful, which is the third wing. You see, there's also a Black Lion in here, so you can get you can buy crap. There's a Laurel Vendor here, somewhere. I don't actually see him. He's here somewhere. Oh, there he is, right there. And over here, there's a bank. Which I obviously don't need anymore. And then here's another portal. This is actually for the Special Forces Training Area. Let me show you what the Special Forces Training Area is. So this is the Special Forces Training Area, and if you look at it, it just looks like kind of a cave or something with a console. Well,
hi there. Use the console to begin combat testing. If you have any inquiries, come speak to me.
That's new. That was not in it before. I don't know when that was added, but she wasn't here when this thing first came out. But anyway, so you can go to this console here. You can summon an enemy golem. Basically, this is a way to test your own personal DPS. You can add all of the boons. You can add just offensive boons, just defensive boons, just utility boons. I believe you can even just select what boons you actually want. I feel good. Just self. Add profession specific skills. I understand all of them. So you can put all the professional exclusive, profession specific skills like the Sun Spirit, which gives you 75% chance to apply burning. Vampiric Aura, which gives from the Necromancer, siphon health when you get hit. The Banners of the Warrior, the Naturalistic Resonance from the Revenant, Spotter from the Rangers, Alacrity from Mesmers, which that's kind of like the big one here because you don't always get a lot of Alacrity from your Mesmers. They're more concerned about quickness. So, but anyway, you also get something I did on my own. So there you go. There's a golem. You can get different size golems, different health pool golems, and this isn't going to be anything spectacular, I'm sure, because I'm not really traded. I was traded more for open world, but hey, let's see what I can do here. I thought the Alacrity has much effect on me anyway. $24K, whatever. I wasn't really trying. I'm not traded right, but whatever. $24K, not bad for mainly auto attacking, right? So yeah, it's basically a DPS tester. You can see it in my map chat down here. Just in regular, like generic chat. You can go to any of your chat tabs and it'll be in there, with the exception of my combat tab here. But yeah, it tells me my DPS was 24,830. Damage I did was at 976,000, and it took me 39 seconds. So I don't know where the other 25,000 damage went, but whatever. Yeah. As you can see, I can also summon a large golem too. There you go. Yeah. Massive kitty golem. Anyway, enough of that. One thing I will point out, which was another thing that came with the most recent patch, is the percentage. You can see the percentage of the health now, which is awesome. That's in options. Is it graphic options or general? I don't remember. It's up here. Yeah, it's in yes, checkbox, show target health percent. So now you know exactly, you don't obviously know exactly how much health the enemy, or even friendly, because it actually shows on friendlies too, how much health they actually have, but you do now have an idea of how much percentage of the health, how much more you have to basically do. It's a really nice thing that they added with the most recent Living Story update, so I think it's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite things that they actually added. Yeah, so there's that. So that's pretty cool. So one thing that's been worked on quite a bit in the past few patches is fractals. They've actually updated now 3 of the fractals, as well as changed, fixed some bugs in some of the other fractals. They actually just did complete overhauls of 3 of the fractals. So the first one they did was Cliffside. They overhauled Cliffside because that was one of the more annoying fractals to do, especially at higher levels. And then more recently in the new Living Story patch, they did Snowblind and Swampland. Now I haven't actually done Snowblind or Swampland since that patch. I can just tell you from what I've heard that Snowblind is a bit easier and Swampland is a lot harder. I will hopefully do. I think I intend that after I do these Living Story patches, I want to do the fractal Let's Play for the fractals that have been updated. I don't want to do the old fractals. I just want to do Let's Plays for the new ones. Also, in this latest Living Story patch, they actually put a brand new fractal in called Chaos Isles, which I believe is which I did one time on a very low level, I actually think I joined halfway through too, so I didn't actually get the whole flavor of it yet. But it's basically just all the fractals thrown together in one, which I was kind of disappointed about because I wanted like a legitimate brand new fractal, and instead I got kind of the same thing all crammed into one. So I don't know, my jury's, for me at least, is still out on that. But we'll see. Well, I'll do a let's play for that soon as well. And that's about it. That's kind of it. That's kind of what you guys have been, what I really haven't covered in the past, whatever, 6 months now since my last video. Yeah, so we're gonna start back up again with this video, and then sometime this week I will have the first chapter of Living Story Season 3, and we'll go through. There'll probably be 4 videos for that for this first chapter. 1, 2, 5 videos. There'll be 5 videos for Living Story Season 3. We'll do 5 videos plus this video, and then hopefully we'll get into some of these Let's Play for the Fractals. And so over the next couple weeks, guys, you can expect probably about 10 videos plus this video. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's see how everything goes first. And that's it. So I'm back for a little while, at least, until they put out more stuff, more Living Story stuff. I'd say I'm glad to be back, but I don't know if I really am. I'll see how I feel after I edit a few videos, and we'll see how it goes.